Welcome to the 5-Star Dynasty Podcast, episode 113. The power of the Goffense. I meant to say power of Goffense. I said got excited. It is what it is. Little spoiler alert, we know what this episode's about. I'm Tomcat. This is Piff.
What's up,
How
guys?
you doing?
I'm doing well. Ready to knock another one out?
Absolutely. And we'll get right started. The power of Goffense. It is a rumor that Jared Goff very likely could be getting another extension. Or an extension with this team, but you know.
Yeah. And I felt like I'm going to take a lap here, a victory lap, because I've been calling this since the beginning of last season. After his first season with Amon-Ra, I was like, this guy's getting paid to stay.
Yes.
And this ended up being a really good trade for both of the teams involved.
I agree. I think Hendon Hooker is more of a let's see what we can get. He's coming off injury. Let's develop him. Let's see what we got with Goff. But if Goff is good and we want to extend him, that we lost nothing drafting this kid, you know, not that early.
Because Goff's still young in quarterback years, you know, considering.
Yes, and he's underrated. He got a bad rap. I mean, I'm gonna say it. When Robert Woods was on top, when Cooper Kupp was still, you know, when he was with Goff, everybody loved them, but they loved to crap on Jared Goff. They loved to say he wasn't that good, but he's supporting two top wide receivers. So.
Yeah, I like him. I've always liked him, really, but he seemed. I feel like McVay held him back a little bit. You know, maybe used him sort of in like the game manager role. So the wide receivers, of course, were getting the work. You know what I mean? Because they, dink dunk. Yeah. So it worked out for what they needed at the time, and then they wanted to go further and make it more high-powered type of offense. They needed to get a cannon, so they made the trade for Stafford.
Yeah.
And now look, both of these teams are both playoff teams. I mean, after the Super Bowl, the Rams, you know, kind of dumped down a little bit, but they're back, right back. They're right in the playoffs. So,
and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, like they paid, they knew what they had to get. They paid, they got the quarterback they wanted, and they won a Super Bowl. You can say whatever you want about the collapse after. It was bad luck because getting Stafford, they only had a couple years they could do it. And unfortunately, 2 of those years he was injured. So it's like they got him, but like they needed him more. But like they still got the Super Bowl. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, but if it happens, if it comes to fruition, I told you so. But I think it's going to work out. But this is probably one of the very rare trades that worked out for both teams.
Yeah.
Masterfully.
I really like Goff. Not only that, but like I kind of admire like the way he handled everything. He got a lot of unnecessary crap that he shouldn't have gotten, and I feel like he handled it well. And he didn't like, you know, lash out at fans. He didn't say anything. He just kind of like kept his head down, worked hard, did what he did, and now everybody all of a sudden loves him. And like now he's in a city that actually appreciates him and like likes him.
Yeah, he's he seems like a cool, calm, collected guy. No, doesn't really fly off the handle, but he also kind of has that like snarky, like when he doesn't like something, he'll say something a little like you know what I mean?
I got you.
When a reporter says something to him, he'll make like a Rodgers type snarky comment back. You know?
Yeah.
Like we did this. You guys are saying this. We did this.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean this. And if it does come true, this is like we haven't even seen the full potential of Jamison Williams. If there is any potential there, you always.
This is the year. We can agree with that. We can agree. This is the year.
It has to be this year. It has to.
I think no matter what, he's a good enough I don't want to say playmaker, but sorry guys, I'm trying not to sneeze. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. That's why I'm
Bless you.
gonna keep going like this. And it's too early to say if he's done. And he did come into the league off an ACL injury, but at the same time, there's always that chance that he's just that guy where it's like, yes, he helps a team in the NFL and because he can make that one big catch that you needed him to make, but he, maybe he caught 3 the whole game and he's just a role player. And it's just, but people drafted him to be like that guy. Like he was supposed to be that guy. And when he got drafted to the Lions, he actually acted like he was pissed and didn't want to talk to anybody, was mad that he got drafted. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the Lions are good and they don't even want him.
Yep. And what did he get suspended for gambling too?
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
So I mean, maybe it's a maturity thing.
Well, when you're hurt,
Hopefully,
I'm just kidding.
hopefully he snaps out
Yeah,
of it.
no, I hear you. I think it's a maturity thing, and I think it's a combination of I mean, didn't he get hurt in a national championship game that they won, or did they lose that game? I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
No, they won, right? In the chat in the comments, just let me know.
Well, I don't think they heard you because you blacked out a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that. Let me know in the chat if you I don't know what's up with my internet tonight.
If you remember if Alabama won that game or not. Right? That was the question. That's what you're going to say.
What was that?
If Alabama won the championship that year.
Thought so. So yeah, maybe he's just like you said, it's a maturity thing. He's always been one of the top guys. He's always been special.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, people drafted him in the mid to late first round. He was hurt. Everybody knew he was hurt, but he was still such a big prospect. Everybody really thought he was going to be something. So
did they sign any wide receivers in free agency?
Not that I can remember. No, they let Josh Reynolds walk too.
Yeah, so they might be in line for a receiver in the later rounds.
So they're either going for or both of what I'm about to say, but they're either going for a wide receiver or there is also a world where they do want Jameson Williams to step up and they're just pushing him up.
Right, but it's Amon-Ra and Jameson.
And Jameson.
That's it.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is the year that this might be the make or break year where they actually give him a shot. Is what I'm saying. Oop, sorry, I'm trying to put my phone on the charger and I knocked it off. It's one of the magnetic ones. My phone's gonna die.
But yeah. They're probably going to add a wide receiver in this draft, later rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm big on the Goffense this year. I'm big on Jahmyr Gibbs. I even like, especially in redraft, but I even like David Montgomery. I'm always confident in Amon-Ra, and there is a world where for your dynasty purposes, Jameson maybe does become the 2. But you're right, they are a candidate to go.
Well, I mean, Laporte is really the 2, but
yeah, you're right. I didn't count him as a wide receiver, but I was definitely counting him as a target
because he's probably going to eat. So this is all good for all these guys if Goff stays and they don't start over again.
Oh, absolutely. Goff staying is huge, dude. Goff staying is huge. Listen, Hendon Hooker, nice little prospect story, blah, 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 but Goff is legitimate talent, and I know he's not like everybody's cup of tea. I know he's not a gunslinger, but he is a good quarterback. He should definitely have more respect, but it is what it is.
All right. What do we got next?
All right. We got T. Higgins, the franchise tag, what that means, and we'll probably shoot a couple wishful spots where if he was to either be traded or get franchise tag this year and then leave next year, what are some spots you'd want him to go? I'll start off with the obvious to get it out of the way so we can talk more of the nitty gritty. Obviously, it would be nice for him to go to Buffalo, but unless he goes to free agency, I don't see him going to Buffalo because I can't see the Bengals being like, "Hey, let's go trade him to one of the top, 4 or 5 teams in the conference." That's a good
Yeah.
idea. I just don't. I see him getting traded to an NFC team
Or a bad AFC team.
or a bad AFC team. You're right, but I could see a world where. How would you feel if the Niners and the Bengals swapped Ayuk and Higgins? Maybe some picks somewhere if they have different values on people. But like
I mean, you're trading for the same thing.
exactly, but one of them is happy to get out, and one of them is happy to get out.
But they both need contracts.
But
You
Ayuk's
see what I'm
not going to
saying?
cost. You think Ayuk's going to cost?
Yeah.
Ayuk's
If you're
probably
going
going
to
to cost
cost Higgins money, they're probably right in the same tier.
same tier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I figure there'd be costs around the same amount. And that they're going to be getting $25 million a year. Based off the thing.
I'm more on the line of them trading him to an NFC team. If I have to think of them trading him to an NFC team, let's see. Let me think about it. My face being taken over. NFC team. I'm not gonna say the Giants.
I mean, they won't because they're going to get a cheap ass receiver at the top of the draft.
Exactly. I'm thinking more of. I mean, I guess they're not considered bad, so I was gonna say I can't say the Chargers. And also, I'm still scared of that team being really run heavy. If they're gonna be run heavy, I would love a world where they are idiots and trade up or stay where they are and trade away Justin Herbert to a team where he can actually throw. With the team, the top, like the Charger fans love Justin Herbert. So if they got a new coach, he just came in and shipped out their quarterback, they'd be pissed.
Oh yeah, that's not happening.
I don't think so either. But like, I really just don't. I guess I'm just putting that in the universe because I really don't want Justin Herbert to be useless.
Carolina, they could use another wide receiver.
Pair him with Deontay and Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I mean Thielen's old as hell. So
in my receiver years.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world where Arizona trades for him, and they trade that 4 pick to, like you said, to Minnesota or whoever wants to move up, and then they ended up trading like a second or a third for probably a second plus because of the Diggs price, right? So a second,
yes,
for Higgins, and I think. Do they have multiple seconds? If they have multiple seconds, the later one, not the earlier one. But them, I mean, obviously the Patriots, they need a number one.
Ugh, I do not want T. Higgins to go to the Patriots.
Broncos.
Nah, who's throwing it to him?
Who knows? Doesn't matter. I'm just naming places he could go.
Oh no! I'm just anytime the Broncos are brought up, anytime I have to say that. It's like, man, who's gonna throw it to him though? Like Jared
I
Stidham
mean,
is not.
they just paid Kirk a bunch of money. I don't think they're gonna want to maybe bring in to Higgins to Atlanta. The Saints.
Because you're thinking NFC too, right?
Yeah, and the AFC teams I would be thinking of are teams that are horrible and have no chance of being a problem.
And then then they probably don't want to even pay T. Higgins if they're not doing anything.
Well, no, because they're trying to do, whoever is trading for them is trying to do something. They're not trying to suck.
Sorry, I'm being lazy as fuck this episode. I think it's. Oh man, that's tough.
I mean, there's a lot of good options, but I just, realistically, he's probably just going to end up playing on it. And
he's gonna play in the franchise tag now. Assuming they don't franchise tag him the next year, where would you like?
I mean,
to see
because if
him
you
go?
think about it, if he fights for a trade, he might end up somewhere he doesn't want to be. So if he just holds
Yeah.
his
Well,
ground,
assuming he
gets
holds,
paid
where would
this
you want to see him next year?
for with 1 year, I want to. You can't ask me because I'm gonna homer out big time because that's what the biggest position of need they have. So,
I think if he has a choice, he goes to Buffalo.
I think if he has the choice, he goes somewhere warm.
Well,
I'm gonna say if he has a choice, he goes somewhere like
Buffalo just had the glaring
LA,
number one wide receiver.
probably like a Chargers.
I guess
Chargers.
Or does he go right to? No, I'll tell you where he goes.
Tampa. Mike
right
Evans leaves. Oh, I mean that could be it too.
He walks right over to the Chiefs and says, "Oh, you got Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice? Okay, hold my beer."
You need me. Actually, I'd be the perfect complement to both these guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if they get crazy, maybe they trade 32 for him.
It's possible.
I mean, how are you going to say no to a first round pick if you're Cincinnati, even if they're in your division and their competition? It's a pretty steep price.
The guy who doesn't want to play under it. He's already going to be unhappy and he's already going to be bitching and causing drama.
But like, I'd really like to see just any good wide receiver end up with the Patriots. That would be my early birthday wish come true.
You're not getting a good wide receiver.
Yeah, I know, but I want one.
You guys are going to get Kendrick Bourne.
We have Kendrick Bourne. Demario Douglas. And that's it.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Demario Douglas is going to have one good year, then you guys are going to let him walk, and then he's going to do good somewhere else, just like Jacoby Myers.
The Bill is not there anymore. Bill Belichick is gone.
I know. I'm just messing.
There's a whole new regime, whole new thinking. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this guy used to. His dad was the Packers GM when they drafted. When they traded for Brett Favre and drafted Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
So they waited. They both, didn't start right away. So.
Very true. Very true. It's kind of good for some guys though, because there's some guys that, like you said in another episode, and I definitely agree. It's some guys are just thrown to the wolves way too soon. They need to sit behind a good quarterback for at least a couple years. I mean, like we said, even Mahomes sat a year behind Alex Smith. It's just one of those things that should be crucial. And a lot of these guys, they think they're ready, and then as soon as they throw them out, they're just like, "Oh, guess not."
Like Sam Darnold, prime example. Like he probably shouldn't have started right away.
Shouldn't have started right away, and he could have been decent because we saw him have some good games. That's the thing, is we saw him have a couple good games, so that was enough to prove like, oh, he probably could have been. Would he have been Mahomes? No, but like, is there a world he did a lot better than he did? Yeah, even in Carolina, he had that stretch where everybody was like, oh man, did he just need to go to Carolina?
Oh, I mean, I know this is a little off topic, but you just mentioned Carolina. But how do you feel about Bryce Young this year?
Got to give him another year. I'm not very. The only thing I ever feel about Bryce Young is whenever I think about him, I think about what I talked about in the last episode. I'm in so many leagues that I try to differentiate some of my picks, and I was a big Stroud. I don't know if you remember or not, but I was a giant Stroud guy. I was so big on him. When everybody else
remember hating on you for it.
Yeah, and everybody was Anthony Richardson. What did I say? Did I say something about injuries?
You did, yeah.
Now, do I acknowledge that I was wrong about how good he is? 100%. I was wrong. When he's on the field, he's way better. And I did grab shares of him. Now, that being said, the only one I'm upset about is I also took shares of Bryce Young in some leagues. In any league that I own Bryce Young that I could have taken one of those other two quarterbacks, it makes me so mad. So I don't mind differentiating a little bit, but not that much. There just happen to be three.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. But
I did too. I differentiated a bunch. So I got pretty much I got a little less Bryce than everybody else though, but I got mostly Richardson and
I'm being dramatic.
Just
I'm mostly Stroud.
The size scared me off big time.
I definitely have the most Stroud, then Richardson, and then Young. But every single Young, I obviously regret. So to answer your question, yeah, I regret it. And
but my reason also was his size, but it was also that the Panthers traded so much to get him that they weren't going to be able to fill out the roster to help him.
Agreed.
But they're making trades and already proven me wrong on that. So
I was about to say, I just today, actually, not even going to lie, just today found myself thinking, you know what? Deontay Johnson's only 27. He's really not old. He's going to another team. We saw Thielen be relevant for like half a season. Well, maybe a little less, but like about half a season. And then he disappeared. If you got a younger guy like Deontay and he just spams him, listen, they're not going to be a good football team, but like
they're just going to try. They're going to try. That move told me they're trying to keep him upright. Because that just means they're going to try and get the ball out quick.
Get the ball
out as fast as possible.
And I think it's that mentality, to pile on what you just said, that mentality is what makes me confident, because I'm sure, like you, do you have a lot of Deontay? Because I have from the last couple of years, like whatever years when he was good.
I got a few. I don't know if I got a lot, but I got a few. But I have been trying to draft him a lot this year.
Because I almost drafted him in a league that we're in a startup, and I grabbed Dalton Schultz as my tight end too, because he fell further because everybody's, a lot of people are off him now, like we talked about in the last episode. I grabbed Hawk, and Hawkinson's supposed to be coming back, but he might come back a little late, so I was like, definitely want to grab Schultz. And I missed Deontay Johnson by like 3 picks. Giants fan grabbed him at the turn, but I was already thinking about him. I'm trying to grab him, but
yeah, no, he's been one of my targets. Now that I say this, everybody we play with that watches this, I will not get him anymore.
Or you'll have to get him earlier than you want him, and it'll ruin his ADP.
Yeah, I just won't take him. I just won't take him.
No, I agree. That's why I actually like drafting earlier, because the ADP does eventually catch up. I think once we get to redraft season, I do think Deontay is going to go a little higher than he's going now. And like, I know it's Dynasty and redraft are different, but like, even if you were to draft a redraft right now, he would go way later than he's going to go in the fall.
All right, you're going to help me make this pick?
What is it?
It's round 18.
Am I in the league?
No.
Okay.
Superflex, start 10. There's a bunch of crap out here right now.
I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what they are.
All right. Well, based off ADP, I got Cam Akers, Jamal Williams, Alan Lazard, Michael Gallup, Eric Gray. I'm not taking DJ Chark, Kareem Hunt. So this is like guys I like, but no need for ADP type shit because it doesn't matter.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Superflex.
Mm-hmm.
No quarterbacks left?
No. Zach Wilson, Zappy, Dobbs.
No. Let's see. What about?
I kind of need running backs, I think.
Okay, name the running backs.
Cam Akers, Jamal Williams, probably a cut candidate. Eric Gray, Kareem Hunt. Crap. Pierre Strong. Keyshawn Vaughn signed in New England.
That's all?
Yeah. Patterson.
Patterson. I'm going to tell you why. There's a world
Okay.
where
I'm gonna take
either
him.
Jalen or Harris get hurt and he becomes the RB2 and gets a little bit of touches. There's also a world where he's manufactured touches. There's also the world where I want you to think about something. I don't want you to rely on this, but as a last ditch, oh my God, I can't believe this is working. This is Taysom Hill style. They signed him on purpose because of the new XFL kickoff return. Imagine a world where he gets like 9 touchdowns on the year and you're just using him desperately, throwing him in there, but he's getting you 8-10 points.
Yeah.
So Patterson.
I took him.
I wish
I
he was
think
still
I'm gonna
eligible
take
for
Eric Gray.
field. That was pretty cool.
I think I'm gonna take Eric Gray.
Are you at the turn?
I'm the third pick, so these other two guys they pick pretty fast. I got my running backs are bad, dude. I got ETN, he's my hero, and then I got Roshan, Zeke, Donta Foreman, Patterson.
Zeke's gonna be your hero when he signs with the Cowboys. Pairs with a rookie.
Well, that's why I grabbed him. But I have because it's just reverse because I didn't do kickers in this one, so it's just reverse. So I have the back end pick in the first. I'll probably take the best running back available there. If there's not like a really good wide receiver sitting there. My wide receivers are pretty decent.
You might get like a Blake
AJ Brown, Pickens, Rashee Rice, Dubs.
Yeah. No, for sure. Let's get into the next one for sure. It's going to be Devonta Smith. Got a contract. While AJ Brown is trying to get paid, his teammate just got paid. Which I'm sure he's not mad he got paid, but he's wondering when he's going to get paid.
Well, I mean, he's already getting paid, so he's just looking to, get a bonus. So they're gonna try. They want him to move some money around and get him a little more money this year. I'm assuming that's what's going on.
Yeah,
because he did sign a 4-year deal, so it's roughly the same dollars that Devontae Smith just got, but Devontae Smith just got it was the 3-year 75 and not 4-100.
Yep.
But yeah, he got 3 years, 75 million, 51 guaranteed. Devontae Smith. So I would imagine we've already heard rumblings of AJ Brown being unhappy. So I'm sure this goes up his ass a little bit for sure.
I think it does, and not in a bad, not in a way like that. Him and
no, it's gonna be more him and the Eagles are gonna be having him and Howie Roseman gonna have a little issue going on.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can fix it because I do think that both of them being on the field help each other. I do think they make it so the defense is those two and Goddard make it so it's
and don't forget they added fucking Saquon, so this is like a super offense this year.
Yeah,
if they keep that line healthy and can keep
this year, or you know what I mean,
I don't know if he might come back. Who knows?
I would love if he comes back. It comes back, but it is to the point where you're taking away from your own retirement if you're retired 6 times. It's Randy Couture is one of the best. His records is whatever, but as a as a fighter and as accomplishment wise, he's one of the best fighters of his generation or of all time. And he retired and unretired so many times that by the time he retired, it took so much away from it, because it was yeah, dude, but you've retired 6 or 7 times now, and then you come back.
So. Yeah, I mean, still, who cares? I don't care. You keep coming back. Doesn't bother me. Brett Favre did it 3 times, right?
There you go. So. What about Tom Brady? What about Tom Brady tweeting that he would?
I'll kill him.
What team would you want to see Tom Brady on?
Patriots.
Yeah, but they're gonna draft the quarterback, so they wouldn't get him.
Nope. Stay home. Stay home with the kids, Tommy.
No, he's gonna come back. Who's going on?
Vegas.
Yeah, dude. Actually, him with Myers and Adams would actually be really good.
I know. And he's already got ties with the team. So
Huh?
he was, they almost named him part owner or some shit. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I mean, it's just it's good for
I mean,
good for
they're
the
the only
Eagles.
team
They're
that he
locking
is. They're
this
the only
down. But
team
at the same
that
time, like, yeah, it's gonna make things weird, but like as long as they can smooth it over, it's good for the team long term. They just got, like you said, they got like a super offense. It might encourage Brown to maybe
maybe not take so much. Maybe chill out a little bit.
chill
Maybe
out a
make
little
a
bit.
run
You're
for a
getting
Super
paid, dude.
Bowl.
They believe in you. Like, I understand, like, if you're I do understand there's a certain thing where you're like, if you assign a deal for so many years and they have outs, you start to see other players and on other teams getting cut before they get their money. And then you probably talk to them and like they tell you their own experiences, and you're just like, man, I'm owed, $100 million and I've only gotten 25 of it. What happens if they want to cut me after 2 years? I'm actually only getting half that money. So I got all happy, sat down there, have to get my agent a cut, all the other people cut. I got all excited about it. And then as soon as I finally get my money, like I don't even get half of it now. So like I understand there is that aspect where they're like trying to get it sooner, but you also got to chill because like at one point you start to look like, hey, I'm on a possible contender offense and I'm acting like a selfish diva when we have a window to win now.
Well, they brought in some defensive pieces too, so hopefully they don't have to draft too many, and they can just help that offensive line.
Yeah, no, I
Because
definitely agree.
everything else, as you think about it, like, well, the linebackers need work probably, but I think they just signed somebody of relevance too. So, but not like like stud or anything, but someone who's like NFL capable that can actually start for you, an NFL
Sometimes that's the
linebacker.
best. A lot of times those are the best signings. They'll sign them for like a medium deal where it's like not cheap, but it's like not bank breaking. And the next thing you
Like
know,
a
the guy
guy like
performs crazy well.
Kyle Van Noy, we'll say, like just this mercenary that just does decent stuff everywhere he goes.
Yeah, that's a really good example. Very, very good example. I think we should move on because the next two are gonna take a minute.
Yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through. Who do you want to do first?
Let's do
The
the
Cardinals.
card.
All right, with
I'm
this,
so
we
sorry
just
about my
picked two
internet tonight, guys.
teams that are we picked two teams that are in need of wide receivers.
Yep.
And that could potentially take a wide receiver at their spot or trade back and take one later. So we're just going to give a few wide receivers that we would like to see them get.
Yep. And we'll start with the Cardinals. So obviously we'll start with if they're at their pick, they have the ability to take Marvin Harrison. That's the obvious. Let's get the elephant out of the room. So that's whatever. Do you even want to count that as one of the top five, or do you want to actually just bypass that?
We got to count it. Yeah, we got to count it. So
Okay.
Marvin Harrison would be the number one, obviously, for everybody, that because you figure that'd probably be the best wide receiver they've had since Larry Fitzgerald. So
Yeah, 100%.
it makes sense. He could be like Kyler's guy. So
yeah, because Hopkins is really good, but it's not the same. You get a guy who is later in his career, and yes, he had some great years in Arizona. I'm not taking anything away from him at all for what he did, but you can't pretend that he didn't play his best years in Houston with Watson.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely.
it is what it is. But this is just a different energy. When you're drafting a brand new guy, you're getting a guy that you're like if he gets along with the franchise, you're getting a guy who's gonna play for 5 years, and then you're also gonna sign him to a long-term deal. Obviously, nowadays the 5-year deal almost wraps into the new deal. Like you kind of work it in. But still, he has flexibility. I don't have much to say about Marvin because how many different pods now we've talked about him going to the Cardinals.
Right. And
So
I feel like that's the scratch pick. That's probably what's going to happen if the Patriots take a QB, the Cardinals are going to be the next team to be able to trade with to get one.
now, assuming for this exercise, assuming the Patriots shock the world, don't trade back, but take Marvin Harrison at 3. Is there a world where now we're talking about the Cardinals taking Neighbors? There you go. So I would still be happy with Kyler with Neighbors. I still think Neighbors very well with Kyler.
And then you go to imagine if that's what happens, and whoever with that third quarterback slips, somebody is going to want to trade with the Chargers to get up ahead of the Giants, just in case the Giants feel frisky because they're posturing like they want to take a quarterback. So because they're bringing in all these quarterbacks for visits, so
absolutely.
That would change some things. But I could see, if that's the case, I could see an Adunze going to Arizona.
Which I
instead of a Neighbors. Because that fits the profile more.
Everybody thinks Neighbors is going to go second, and then they grab Rome instead.
Yeah, and then that would be that. And if they did trade back,
we agree those are the only 3 that they would take with that pick without trading back or anything.
Right. Now, if they trade back,
can I say really quick? I think if they don't take Harrison, they're trading back. While there is a possibility they take Neighbors or they take Rome, I don't think they take them this early. I really don't. I think what you said in the last pod, I believe it could have been earlier than this, but I believe it was the last pod where you said that they would trade with the Vikings. Well, we both said when they trade with the Vikings, but you specifically said with the 11 they could get Rome there, and then there's a possibility
it could happen
at 11.
It is. If the Bears don't go wide receiver, which they shouldn't, because they already have a stacked table of wide receivers now.
Unless the Jets do what we talked about and hate, and they take them at 10.
Stop.
But so, yeah.
There is a possibility that Rome or Neighbors could fall to them at 11.
Only way Neighbors falls at 11, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Only way Neighbors falls that far is if Marvin Harrison fell that far and the Giants took Marvin Harrison instead of Neighbors.
Well, here's the thing. This is my thing. Because if it falls out like you said and the Pats take them 3, the quarterback situation's not as intense now.
Yeah.
Because Arizona doesn't need one.
Yeah.
Chargers don't need one. So
they're just going to need one, but they would want to trade back. So everybody would scramble.
But that's what I mean. These guys there would be no need to trade back because those guys don't need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Somebody's not going to trade up for a quarterback when those guys don't need it. I mean, because the Giants would be able to take Daniels if they wanted one. So Giants would be the trade partner because neither of those teams need it unless the team wanted to jump the Giants and then take a quarterback. But then it would have to be the Chargers would have to be the trade partner.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Who would be your 4th wide receiver? So
it's got to be I don't know if Brian Thomas will be there at 23, but I don't think he's worth 11. So I would think they went in a different direction at 11, probably offensive line, defense, corner or something.
What if they traded back and then traded back again?
Well, they could do that too. Mid-teen and then take Brian Thomas Jr.
At 17.
Yeah, they could do that.
I can't think of who 17 is. I'm just throwing off loose examples.
But yeah, that could definitely happen. That's definitely in the cards. But say they just totally juke us all and they don't take one till the second round. Maybe Xavier Legette in the early second to Arizona if they just totally bypass the wide receiver in the first altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they need a bigger body guy. They got plenty of little guys. They need a bigger body guy.
Yeah,
But
I'd have to.
so there's also like you were saying too. They need that guy that blow the top off
Mm-hmm.
because they lost Hollywood. So maybe Xavier Worthy's in the cards at 23 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would round out the top five that we were talking about for the Cardinals. Well, I think there is a world where obviously there's the Adonai Mitchells of the world and stuff like that, but I think he's the only one that debatably go over Worthy because they're in the same tier at the end of that tier of wide receiver. I think everybody else you named goes before him for sure.
Because I would throw Lad McConkey in there, but I feel like he's more of a slot, and they don't need that. So
they don't need that. You know what's funny is I actually was also thinking the only reason I didn't bring him up when we talked about the Cardinals wide receivers is because they don't need that. They need to blow the top off. And
they need a bona fide number one is what they need. They don't have that.
They need somebody. Yeah, they need both. They need somebody who most of the time is just going to be a normal one, but has the ability to break off and have the big play as well.
So yeah, and if if you're not that all around great wide receiver like Marvin Harrison, I think
his name is Marvin Harrison. Draft him.
Yeah. I mean that'd be the smartest move for sure.
For the Superflex draft,
but it all depends on what the Patriots do. That's where the draft starts.
For that Superflex league that that I grabbed Kyler in, I'm 103 in the rookie, and I'm still, even though most people are like, oh, you should grab a QB. I'm grabbing Marvin Harrison if I can because I want to stack him with Kyler, hoping I'm willing that to happen.
Well, if not, you could always
take the Cardinals top five, so we can move on to the next team if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you had anything else to close on the Cardinals, of course.
No, because I don't think Ricky Parasol will be taking that high. I mean, I could see Xavier Legette because he's a bigger dude. Maybe if in the second, like I said, or if like Adonai Mitchell falls too, he'd probably go ahead of Legette. But there's a lot of things that need to happen. But those are some spots, some guys that I'd like to see there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, let's move on to the Chargers. They are at a pick where they could easily take a wide receiver, but there is obviously the rumors that they're most likely going to go with an offensive line. Now, there's also rumors that they're very open to trading back. You got a new coach who would love multiple firsts. You come right in and you're a pick that you're not even responsible for. It's not even your fault that the pick's that low, and you get to tell me that you can get multiple firsts and maybe even a second or so off it. I think there's a good chance that's going to happen. As much as they want an offensive lineman, how are you going to turn down that many picks when the talent level is so big right now in football in general that like you have guys that are undrafted that come out and they're good now?
Yeah. I mean, to pass on Joe Alt or a top wide receiver would be tough if I was Harbaugh looking at my wide receivers situation.
Especially when you just shipped off two of them while you let one walk and then you cut one and then you traded the other.
I see it very hard them not to, unless, like I said, the Patriots take a QB and they want to come get McCarthy. This is the spot they're gonna have to go is 5.
Yeah,
because they got to get ahead of the Giants.
Yeah. That being said, for this exercise, let's do a world where the Vikings just traded up with the Cardinals to go get JJ McCarthy. And the Chargers have Marvin Harrison fall to their lap. I would love Marvin Harrison to be whether they're going to run a lot or not. they still have to throw the ball. And Marvin Harrison is going to get a lot of targets if he gets Justin Herbert.
Oh, yeah. And even if, like, say they don't trade the pick, say they don't get the deal they want, Marvin Harrison's gone, Arizona took him. Who are you taking? Are you going to take Malik Neighbors, or are you going to take Rome Odunze as your first one if you're the Chargers?
If I'm the Chargers, I'm going Neighbors.
Yeah.
I really, really like Rome's route tree. I'm really happy if the two get picked and the Giants take Rome. I'm ecstatic. I'm very happy. I love Rome. I like it. As it's been said by other people, don't hear what I'm not saying. Like, I am not saying that I don't like Rome, but I think Neighbors. It's more like Neighbors has that big
explosive.
Rome's
a little more explosive. Is that
whereas Rome's got like the really good route running and he's really efficient and I really like him and he's a very solid wide receiver and he deserves to be in the top 3. But I think Neighbors is at the point where like people were talking about him rivaling or even sneaky going one pick ahead of Marvin Harrison, where it's like, oh, we thought it was going to be Harrison, but now it's Neighbors getting picked first. So
yeah,
Neighbors. So if they pick Neighbors, then that would be. Listen, if not to cut it too short, but like any of the top 3, like this will give us more time to talk about the other what ifs if they trade back. But the top 3, if they take any of the top 3 at 5, Justin Herbert has a, in my opinion, a bona fide wide receiver 1 where it's, I'm not saying they're going to be like a top 12 in fantasy, but they're going to be his number 1 when they get to that team.
Yeah.
Joshua Palmer has had multiple years to prove he could be anything.
Yeah, and he can't do it.
Quentin Johnson did not prove to me he's that guy. He's another guy I wasted picks on to differentiate, and I wish I didn't.
But some people are still taking him pretty high.
The thing that makes me mad is where he went in the draft. They're most of the teams that I like either was in the playoffs or won a championship. So like I got him, but like at the same time, he's not helping a championship team I'm trying to probably repeat or a playoff team that barely missed it. And I needed that next piece. He's not it. So it is what it is.
If you were to trade Quentin, what would you trade him for? Like what's your bare minimum you'd take for him? Like a third? Like a high third?
No. I don't do that.
That's probably the value, though.
That I miss
I'm just saying
out of
based off of value. I'm just saying based off value, not like a move. Just based off value.
Okay, well, let me just say this real quick. For me personally, if I spent a late first on somebody, I'm not trading him for a third this early in his career because I'm gonna feel like a fucking idiot if I trade him away and then something happens and he's even if he's wide receiver 32. That's still a flex guy that you're gonna be like, damn, I had him and I traded him away.
Mm-hmm. And especially in like a best ball or something, I would want him just in case, just one game he pops off. You know what I mean? You have it; it's there.
I'm speaking hyperbole, trashing him because I do think there's going to be a wide receiver who gets drafted above and plays above him, but that doesn't mean I think he's the worst ever. Yeah,
no, he can grow. I think he's still young, so
I agree. What do you think about if they get Brian Thomas?
And this is saying, like, this is obviously trade back. So we're trading back with Minnesota.
Yes. The 3 where they shocked us and they took them at 5. Now it's they trade back.
If they traded back, I don't know if Rome makes it to them. Yeah, I don't know if it makes it to them because maybe the Bears
do take Brian Thomas at 24. Let's just say, even though he might not make it that far.
23. I think he could fall that far. So we'll say 24 or 23 because that's the pick. 23.
23. Yeah.
So, yeah, Brian Thomas, Adonai Mitchell, and they're still high. Do they have their second round pick? I'm not sure they do, but if they do, I like the Leggett there. I like I don't like Lad McConkey there. I don't know if that would be any good.
Do you think that
I mean, it actually might be good because they lost Keenan, so he'd be like a Keenan on crack.
Do you think there's a world where they take a wide receiver. Like, what if they trade back and then they imagine a world where they trade back, somehow Rome falls to 11, they take Rome, and then they take one of the guys like Leggett or one of the guys you named in the early second, and then they have 2 wide receivers come out of the draft, and then they use the 24th on like an offensive lineman, like one of the mid-tier first round ones.
Mid guys, yeah, because they already have their left tackle. I'm pretty sure they just need to get their right tackle.
Yeah, so it's like I don't want to disparage right tackles, but it's like not as crucial as needing to find that left tackle where they need to get him early.
Right.
I just think that it's going to kind of be a waste if the Chargers go off. I know they need offensive line, but offensive line at 5 just seems so early.
Trade back. And in the 20s, though, too. Yeah, but I mean, Joe Alt supposedly.
I don't know. I don't know of
since.
any Quentin Nelson or I know it's a different position, but I'm saying I don't know of any Quentin Nelson or any special linemen coming out of this draft that are that special where they shouldn't at least trade back. Their team needs so much.
Well, Joe Alt's that guy. Joe Alt's that bona fide number.
Well, no. I know he's really good, but I'm saying like that team needs picks. It's so bad right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's so bad as not just coaching. You gotta remember how bad Brandon Staley was too. So
did they get a second or a third?
What
did they get for Keenan?
Keenan, I think a third.
Okay, so it's still gonna be like 309 or something.
Yeah.
So that's still a decent pick, especially in the NFL draft. Excuse me. But okay, well, let's round out one more. We got one more. We did the top 3, and then we did Brian Thomas. So who's the 5th that we would say goes to the Chargers? We teased a couple names, but which one are we picking?
I'm going with Adonai Mitchell. Would be my.
I like that.
My fourth. I mean, my.
Are
third.
You assuming he doesn't get picked by the Chiefs at 32 and he falls to the early second?
I'm thinking they might take him at 23.
Oh, that's right.
I know it's kind of early, but I think they might take him.
But they'd be worried about other teams grabbing him.
Yeah.
You know, I think they might take in the second round. This is off topic of the wide receivers. I think there's a chance in like the early third they take Blake Corum.
Oh yeah, I agree with that all day
because it's his running back. He knows him already. He likes him already. The opening of the team is there, and it's like an expensive pick, but it's not that expensive. It's a third round,
right? And they brought in Gus Edwards too, so I mean, it's not like they got Gus, have the whole workload.
And I think they got Gus, and they like Gus because Greg Roman was the one who brought him in and said, "Hey, I like him," and he's the one who said, "Hey, let's give J.K. Dobbins a look." But like, I do think if given the shot, he just was at Michigan. He's just going to see his running back and be like, "Hey, I want to be with my guy."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that rounds it out. I like that. I actually think.
But I like Xavier Leggett too. I like him. I like him a lot. We should
do that with a couple other teams. In other episodes, maybe some running back. We'll find a team like the Cowboys. Will do like the 5 running backs they could go for, or like the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been looking at running backs, so that I think they have Pacheco now because he's cheap. But I think if one of the good running backs falls to them, they might take him as a day 2.
Well, yeah, because they have Jonathan Brooks coming in for a visit.
Yes.
So
that's what made me realize it. Once they were looking at Jonathan Brooks, I was like, okay, there's a world where they're going to try to bring him in, have him sit a year or so and like recover. Maybe not sit fully, but like really take it slow and recover while Pacheco, they just use him up.
And they re-signed Clyde too. So
then they re-signed Clyde. Yeah, they let him go look and then they signed him for cheap. But yeah, man, another good episode.
Yeah. Good. I'm ready for bed. Gotta wake up in a few hours.
An hour and it'll be 5. Well, it's 6 minutes now, but it'll be 5. An hour and 1 minute to do my taxes. I'm not worried about that.
I don't know. All I know is all I'll be doing from now until draft day is just mocking my brains out. NFL mocking the hell out of everything. Just I want to do like every possible scenario, do as like many trades as I possibly can throughout the whole draft, just to see like how I hit on every pick I can. So I'll be doing like 7-round mocks all week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make different playlists, guys. So when we have different shows and different like little like whatever, because like obviously this is our main show. We're gonna eventually do a redraft when we get a little closer to the. I'd say like probably somewhere in the summer, if the redraft season actually makes sense. We should do
probably like mid-July or something.
Yeah, Dynasty is gonna be this is our year-round podcast. Like it.
It's just we love fantasy altogether, so it doesn't. We're gonna be doing it all.
Yeah, a redraft show that does off-season content is basically just talking about Dynasty content. Like at this point, you know what I mean? Like they're not admitting it. They're not talking about the long-term, but like it's our year-round is gonna be this, and then in the summer until the end of the football season, we'll have a redraft show, and then that'll probably go to sleep. You know, in the off-season, I think that makes the most sense. And then
probably after the Super Bowl. I figure when DFS dies, the redraft will die.
Yeah, it'll be redraft, and then it'll kind of like turn for a handful of weeks. It'll focus on DFS for the people, and then it'll go to sleep. And then it'll be a lot of fun. We'll do that.
Maybe we'll run a group DFS weekly league.
We should, because I already run one locally with my friends, so I'll be up for another one with people from online. I feel like it would get big.
So.
A lot of fun.
Big plans.
Make sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 5-Star Dynasty Pod. Everywhere else, it's going to be at 5-Star Dynasty Podcast.
We're kind of lacking on the content on those pages right now, but we'll be boosting it.
But part of that is because, we just haven't really gotten to it, and once people start following it, we know people are actually going to interact there. We'll do that. And also, in the off season right now, we're just kind of like ramping up as the drafts come to the next week. We're gonna have more banners at the bottom going. We're gonna have more interactive news. We're gonna maybe even get some questions, or maybe more voice messages, or whatever they want. If they want to ask questions, we'll ask them. We'll answer on the pod. All that kind of cool stuff. It's all about interacting with you guys. It's all about growing. It's all about like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's the biggest thing. Subscribe. Some of you are watching and not subscribing, and I don't understand.
Please subscribe. Please like. Share with your friends. And
next week we'll talk about a couple more teams, a couple more positions, and definitely gonna get into an actual NFL mock and what we think is gonna happen as more news comes out, and as we find out more preferences of what everybody's doing. It's just one of those things where as we get closer, we get more information, and we're trying to make the best content we can for you guys. But at the same time, there is a certain point where there's only so much we can talk about, and some days there's no news at all. Some days there's so much news, and we just recorded an episode, and we're like, God damn
it.
That's what happened with the Diggs thing. So, get there, and we'll be popping in shorts and whatnot. I know we talked about doing something big happens, even if it's just one of us, we want to be able to acknowledge it, and people to have that little extra content. And
even if I made one, phone.
We'll post on TikTok and all that stuff. We're trying to stay on all the social media, so support us. So we can't do anything. We're nothing without you guys, and that's all I got.
Me too. So, good night.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Tomcat,
play Dynasty.
Play Dynasty.